Well, to us here at WCCO-TV, he's Mark Rosen, our sportscaster. He's that and much more to thousands who tune into KQRS Radio every morning. He's Little Marky Rosen, he's Raisin, he's Rose Petal, and whatever you call him, he's at the center of a radio tug-of-war between KQRS and WCCO AM Radio.
And KQ morning host Tom Bernard so far owns the public relations edge over WCCO Radio. For the past 2 weeks, Bernard has used up a lot of airtime, claiming that if Marky leaves KQ, it's because he had no choice but to bow to his WCCO employers. It's called the Free Little Marky Rosen campaign, and it's generated a lot of calls and more. And that's today's story behind the story.
We said it was going to be scary if they went back and played Baltimore.
It was.
At Baltimore.
Well, they have a lot more problems than just the release of Joe Negro. They got a lot more.
By contract, Mark Rosen is the exclusive property of WCCO Television. But about 2 years ago, at Mark's request, he was allowed to moonlight, or more appropriately, sunlight, for KQRS Radio every morning. He can even do his morning sports shows from his own kitchen if he's too tired to get dressed.
Have reminded me of one long...
Mark figured the heavy exposure on the Golden Valley Rock Station would be good for him and for his employers at WCCO-TV, because KQ was into running nutty promotions, and young viewers are what ratings are all about. One of those nutty promotions won Rosen 8,000 write-in votes for governor in 1986.
Hey, Rose Petal, you're up, son.
Well, let's talk a little baseball to start with. Very little.
Oh, wait a minute. I have to have you do something first.
What now?
This will take 2 seconds. Say this.
If you want to hear about nothing but sports or expect a reverent attitude, forget KQ. This is morning radio.
So, how about those Twins? Oh, 10 games out. Oakland won last night, and the Twins are now 10 games back, which is bad enough, but they also have 6 teams ahead of them.
But lately, the conversation always gets around to freeing little Marky Rosen.
A lot of Roses in the news these days.
Yeah, like Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
You notice that great segue?
Yesterday, as a peaceful protest, Bernard asked his listeners who wanted Marky freed from any reprisals if he re-signs with KQ to send roses to the big boss at WCCO, Jim Rupp. They sent roses, and they also sent some messages.
And then my favorite poem, Roses are red, violets are blue. Mark Rosen belongs at KQ 92.
Okay, let's decide it.
That's an
I'll shut it down.
KQ's War of the Rosen is using airtime for ammunition, also posters, even a plea to paper the dome with free Rosen banners. Bernard says it's just a matter of WCCO giving Mark Rosen a choice.
Here's a new idea. It's called free enterprise. You bid for his services, we'll bid for his services, leave him alone on television, and it'll be perfect. Right. So what we'll do is we'll go head-to-head with CCO Radio and bid for you.
I love this.
I think it's a great idea.
I've always wanted to be in a bidding war.
The party's pretty much over for WCCO AM. In the long term, they'll never win. And that's just how it is. The numbers are dropping, and 2 or 3 years, it'll be all over. That'll be it, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Whoops. KQ's share of the morning audience has grown from about 5 to a 13. That's worth about $8 million a year, enough to fight a war over. Rosen says he's confused. He hasn't been told what will happen if he does want to sign with KQ, but he's glad that the roses at least are going to be donated to his favorite charity. That's the Minneapolis Children's Hospital.